Every Monday morning, when the shelter doors creak open, the first sound isn't barking, it's a sigh. In kennel number 14, a large, heavy German shepherd lies, still like a forgotten shadow. He doesn't lift his head, doesn't look at anyone, doesn't bark, doesn't wag. His name is Rex. He once weighed about 85 pounds, fit, sharp, always leading the Houston K-9 unit with pride. Now he's 150 pounds, bloated, patchy, and hollow-eyed. No one dares to speak loudly around him. It's as if raising your voice might awaken something that was once noble but is now broken. Marie, the vet tech, whispers when she's near him. I've seen many abandoned dogs. But Rex, he's different. He's not angry, not scared. He just looks like he's waiting to disappear. Rex doesn't hate anyone. He's just stopped believing anyone needs him. Food is placed in front of him. He eats. He's led outside. He walks. But he doesn't sniff, doesn't wag, doesn't react. He simply waits, like a soldier who survived the battlefield, but lost the war inside. And then one day, Harvey showed up. He stood in front of Rex's kennel for 5 full minutes, said nothing, didn't kneel, just stood. Then he turned to the staff and asked quietly, "Does he bark?" The girl replied, "No, not once since he got here." Harvey nodded slowly, eyes unblinking. "Good, neither do I." Before he became the silent figure in Kennel 14, Rex was a name on the morning news. K-9 Rex assists in takedown of multi-state drug ring. Rex locate explosive in under 19 seconds. At the Houston Police Department, everyone knew Rex. He wasn't the smartest dog on the force, but he was the most loyal and the bravest. He didn't flinch at sirens, didn't back down from shouts, didn't hesitate when guns were drawn. He simply waited for the signal. His handler, Officer Mike Sanders, once said, "I don't need Rex to understand everything. I just need him to understand me." And Rex did, in a way that people rarely understand each other. Rex understood Mike. Each morning, Mike would tap his back before stepping out of a patrol car, a ritual. "Come with me, Rex. We're a team." For 6 years straight, they were inseparable, from chasing down suspects in the rain to storming illegal arms warehouses near the docks. They had each other's backs. Then came the gas explosion. In the chaos, Mike was buried under debris. The rescue crew didn't find him. Rex did. He barked until his throat gave out, dug with bleeding paws, until someone spotted a scrap of uniform under the concrete. Mike survived, but he didn't return to the force. Surgery to his spine ended his duty. And so, Rex was retired too. No one did anything wrong. A 7-year-old K-9 with a limp didn't belong on the streets anymore. But Rex didn't understand policy. The day they took him from the unit, he refused to enter the transport crate. He kept looking back at Mike, waiting for the only command he ever needed to hear. "Come with me, Rex." But Mike didn't speak. He just looked away. Not because he didn't care, but because he couldn't bring Rex home. His daughter was terminally ill. His family couldn't handle another life to care for. So Rex was transferred to a temporary holding center. And he shut down. The first week, he refused food. He walked in circles in his kennel, pawing at invisible doors. In the second week, he gnawed at his back leg until it bled, trying to mimic the motion of running alongside Mike. After that, he simply stopped fighting. And slowly he grew, not from joy, not from comfort, but from stillness, from not burning any energy, emotionally or physically, from simply lying there day after day, waiting for a voice that never came. A year passed, then another. No one adopted him. A few families came, but seeing a massive, silent dog with no tail wags, no interest, they walked away. One boy once asked, "He's not blind, right? Why doesn't he look at me?" The mom tugged the child along without answering. Eventually, people stopped asking about Rex altogether. He had once been K-9, had saved lives, had stood his ground under gunfire, had howled through the night for a fallen partner. And now he was forgotten, all but one person, someone who had once faced fire, 2. Someone who carried their own scars beneath layers of silence. And that man was walking toward the shelter. But not today. Harvey would come. Yes, but before that, Rex had to wait 2 more years. 2 years without a name being called. 2 years without someone saying, "You used to be a hero." In Kennel 14, every day was the same. Morning, wake up, stand up, eat a few bites of dry food, lie back down. Noon, let out to the yard, 3 slow laps, back inside. Night, the barking of younger dogs echoing, Rex silent, then sleep. He didn't wag. He didn't growl. He didn't flinch. A dog who once ran into fire now couldn't even be bothered to lift his head at the sound of footsteps. His body declined, but it was a spirit that faded faster. He ate, but not because he was hungry. He gained weight, not because he was cared for, but because he moved so little and felt even less. From 95 pounds to 110, then 125, then 140. Someone at the shelter jokingly called him the silent brick. Marie didn't laugh. She just whispered, "He's not just heavy. He's carrying something." She tried everything. Reduced calorie meals, soft music at bedtime, bringing him an old T-shirt from Officer Mike, even taping a small photo of the K9 unit to the kennel wall. Rex glanced at them all, then turned away, not because he didn't recognize them, but because he was afraid to hope. Once, a young couple visited looking for a big dog to protect the house. They were brought to Rex's kennel. The husband clapped loudly. "Hey, big guy, come say hi." Rex didn't move. The child with him asked, "Is he broken?" The mother tugged his sleeve. "Let's find one that's happier." They left. Rex closed his eyes, not in anger, but like someone who just survived yet another meaningless interview. By February, the vet began whispering about humane options. If Rex's condition continued to decline, Marie stood her ground. "He's not gone. He's just waiting." "Waiting for what?" the director asked. She didn't answer, but she began moving Rex's kennel closer to the front hallway, where people adopting dogs had to pass by. And something strange happened. In his first week there, a little terrier in the next kennel barked nonstop. Rex let out a soft whine. Not pain, annoyance. He was annoyed. Marie smiled. "At least you still get annoyed. That means you're still alive." One night, she knelt beside him with a towel, wiped his belly. For the first time, he lowered his head onto her lap. He didn't lick, didn't nuzzle, just rested, like someone who didn't want affection, but simply wanted to say, "I'm tired, but thank you." That same week, a man walked in. No loud voice, no clapping, no crouching down. He just stood in front of Kennel 14. Gray hair, burned scar hands, tired eyes that didn't water, but were never dry. And Rex, after nearly 3 years, lifted his head. For the first time in nearly 3 years, Rex lifted his head, not because someone called him, not for food, but because of the way that man stood. He didn't crouch, didn't wave, didn't try to smile. He just stood, still, steady, like someone who had nothing left to prove and nothing left to ask for. He stood like something old that hadn't broken yet. His name was Harvey Dawson, 68 years old, retired firefighter, widower, lived alone on the edge of a quiet little town called Lanesboro, Minnesota. No wife, no children, no one to call his name in the morning, just an old porch and eyes that had grown dry from not being looked into. Harvey hadn't planned on adopting a dog. That morning, he was just passing the shelter after a routine heart checkup. The doctor had said, "You should take daily walks. A dog might help." Harvey didn't answer, but that afternoon, he pulled into the shelter parking lot, not to look for a dog, but maybe to find a reason to step outside again. When he reached Kennel 14, the staff began to speak, but Harvey held up a hand. "Give me a minute." He didn't move, didn't speak, didn't blink, and Rex watched him. No tail wag, no bark, but he watched long and straight. Then Rex stood up. Marie, behind the glass, gasped. 3 years. Not once had he stood up to meet a person. Harvey nodded slowly. He picked me. That night, Harvey didn't go home alone. Rex climbed into the passenger seat like a soldier getting into a convoy. Silent, steady, ready. He didn't whine, didn't tremble, just sat. Harvey glanced at the rearview mirror and muttered, "I won't promise joy, but I promise not to leave you." Rex blinked once, long and slow, not because he was tired, but because he believed him. At home, Harvey opened the front door. Rex stepped inside, slow, unsure, like someone released from prison, but unsure what freedom meant anymore. The wood floors creaked. The armchair in the corner still held a folded blanket. On the wall hung a photo of a woman, smiling gently, eyes crinkled in sunlight. Harvey pointed. "That's Mary, my wife. She loved dogs. If she were still here, she would have adopted you before I did." Rex didn't bark, but he walked to the photo, looked up, and sat down. That night, Harvey laid an old blanket near the fireplace. Rex lay quietly, eyes open, watching the flames flicker. Harvey poured himself a whiskey, sat in his armchair. No TV, no music, no talking. Just two worn-out souls sharing a room, not filling the silence, but resting in it. No one asked, "What happened to you?" No one explained, "This is where it hurts." Because some wounds, only the quiet can recognize in each other. The next morning, Harvey opened the door early. The air was cold. Rex sat at the edge of the porch. No leash, no command, but didn't move forward. Harvey took 2 steps down, turned back. "Want to walk?" Rex didn't respond immediately, but when Harvey turned to go, Rex followed. Step by step, slow but firm. After 20 yards, he panted. At 50, he laid down. Harvey walked back and sat beside him. "It's okay. You don't have to run. Just don't lie still forever." And so began their healing. Not with fanfare, not with obedience drills. Just one man who asked for nothing, and one dog who still showed up. The first morning, Rex walked 50 yards. The second morning, just 30. On the third, he didn't leave the porch at all. He lay there, head resting on the old wooden step, staring into the fog rolling over the fence line. Harvey didn't push. He didn't beg. He sat next to him, hands wrapped around a warm mug, staring in the same direction. "I have days like that, too," he said softly. "But the sun comes up anyway." Rex didn't look at him. But the next morning, he stood before Harvey even opened the door. The first month became a quiet negotiation, a kind of wordless deal between two broken bodies. Harvey set the alarm for 6 a.m., but never called Rex. If Rex was waiting, they walked. If not, Harvey read the paper and made coffee. Some days they made it to the end of the driveway. Some days, just around the yard. Rex was still heavy, 148 pounds, according to the vet in town. "He's definitely overweight," she said, "but his heart's still solid. If someone's patient, he has a shot." Harvey smiled. "I've got time." He changed Rex's diet. No more store-bought kibble. Home-cooked chicken and rice. 2 meals a day, measured by hand, always on time. Rex didn't protest, but he didn't look thrilled either. He ate like a man fulfilling a duty, no rush, no tail wag. Each night, Harvey would sit in his armchair, legs stretched toward the fireplace, a small glass of whiskey in hand. Rex would lie beside the hearth, chin resting on a tattered wool rug. They didn't talk, but neither of them was alone. Then one evening, as Harvey massaged Rex's scarred leg, Rex leaned forward and licked his hand. Just once. Not a hungry lick, not a craving for praise, but something slow, measured, grateful. By the second month, Rex started walking farther. Each week, a little longer. Each time, Harvey counted the steps. And when Rex got tired, Harvey stopped. Never pulled, never scolded. "I'm not training you," he'd say. "I'm just walking with you." One cold morning, a jogger passed by with a yappy little terrier. The dog barked nonstop, bouncing around Rex's feet. Rex didn't bark back. didn't growl, but his ears perked. He looked. Harvey chuckled. So, you're paying attention again. That means something. That night, Rex finished his dinner and licked the bowl. When Marie, the vet tech from the shelter, heard about it, she cried. 6 months in, Rex weighed 125 pounds. Every morning, he woke up earlier than Harvey, sat at the porch, waiting. No leash, no command, but never wandered off. You're still old, Harvey would joke, but you're punctual. One afternoon, while clearing out the attic, Harvey found his old turnout coat. Faded yellow, scorched at the sleeve. He dusted it off and smiled. Rex stood below the ladder, watching with alert eyes that no longer sagged. Harvey knelt, patted him gently. I used to walk into fires. You used to chase bullets. Now we walk slowly. That's not weakness. Then, one day, Harvey fell. It was an icy morning. The porch step was slick. He slipped hard and hit the ground shoulder first. Dizzy, disoriented. He couldn't get up. Rex, a few steps ahead, paused. He sniffed the air, sensed something off. He turned, trotted back, sat beside Harvey, then gently took the man's sleeve in his teeth. Didn't pull, just held, as if to say, "Get up, I'm not leaving you, so you can't leave me." Harvey came to a few minutes later, saw Rex hovering above him, and smiled through tears. "You're still in there, aren't you?" That night, Harvey didn't call Rex a dog anymore. From then on, he called him my friend. By spring, Rex was 100 pounds even. His coat gleamed. His gait was steady. His breathing smooth. Neighbors grew familiar with the sight. An old man with silver hair, and a quiet German shepherd walking at his side, eyes fixed on the road ahead. They didn't talk. They didn't rush. But everyone said, they looked like they'd come back to life. That day started like any other. Clear sky, melting frost. Rex rose early, waiting on the porch for Harvey to bring his coat. But Harvey didn't come. 10 minutes. 20. Rex stayed at the door. At the 30-minute mark, he walked inside, something he hadn't done uninvited in over a year. Harvey was on the kitchen floor. No sounds, no movement. His arm trembled faintly. His face was pale, lips slightly blue. Rex walked up, sniffed once. This wasn't normal. He turned, trotted outside, headed straight for the front gate, where, just 2 weeks earlier, Harvey had installed a pull-cord emergency bell for senior safety. Rex stood tall on his back legs, gripped the cord with his mouth, and pulled. The bell rang, loud and sharp, echoing through the block. A neighbor came running. Rex met him halfway, then led him inside. Paramedics arrived minutes later. Harvey had suffered a mild stroke. A few more minutes, and it could have been far worse. At the hospital, the doctor asked, "Who called it in?" The neighbor pointed to the dog curled under the bed. The four-legged war vet right there. Harvey, pale but awake, reached for Rex's paw and smiled through weary eyes. "I thought I was the one saving you. Turns out you remembered your job after all." Rex didn't bark, didn't wag. He just pressed his head into Harvey's chest, like a soldier standing silent, not for orders, but in recognition of a bond that never really broke. 3 weeks later, Harvey came home. He didn't unlock windows, didn't dust the shelves. He walked straight to the porch steps and sat down. Rex patted over quietly. No licking, no tail wagging. He just sat beside him, one scarred man, one scarred dog, staring toward a sky they both almost left behind. Harvey didn't look at him, but he whispered, "We both thought we were done. Turns out, when someone still needs you, you're still a warrior." From that day forward, the town didn't just call Rex the dog who got better. They called him what he always was, a warrior who came back, and pulled someone else out of the dark, too. Every afternoon you could find two shadows, one tall, one four-legged, sitting quietly on an old wooden porch, facing west. Harvey wasn't strong like he used to be. Rex wasn't young anymore. But now, neither of them was alone. No one asked about the scar on Rex's hind leg. No one needed to know the story behind the burn on Harvey's hand. All they had to do was watch how the two of them sat. Not touching, not talking, but together. Because sometimes healing doesn't come from medicine. It comes from being needed again. Rex had once weighed 150 pounds, heavy with fat, and even heavier with sadness. Now he was just heavy enough to rest his head on an old man's lap and fall asleep in peace. And Harvey? He once believed his life would end in silence, glass of whiskey in hand, staring into nothing. But then a four-legged soldier came home, not with noise, but with presence, and stayed. You think you're rescuing a dog, but sometimes they're the ones who pull you back. If the story touched you, drop in the comments, because somewhere out there, someone like Rex might still be waiting for the right person to walk through the door.